Yes.
So I would like to officially welcome you to my Ask Me Anything Live. How can I support you today? What questions do you have?
Oh, well, first, just want to acknowledge you for the great presentation you did the other day for on Linda's event.
Oh, okay, it's
Yeah,
fun
that's where I
again.
met you. Yes, yes. And
Excellent.
this just turned out to be, perfect timing for me. I'm definitely going to need your services. I had also had come up with a few things that I don't know if they qualify for IP or not, but I'd come up with a few items that were actually ways to name some of my services as products.
Excellent. So do you want to run those ideas past, or do you have specific questions about them? Oops. Are you there? You dropped off. You still with
Hear
me?
me?
Oh,
Oh, now we're back.
now you're back.
Okay, yes, yes. I was saying that I'd come up with these names for these products, but I was afraid to use them because I don't know if I have to go get them protected first,
Mm,
trademarked or anything like that. I'm not an IP lawyer. Other people have said, "Oh no, just put it out there, get it out there on the net, claim it by putting TM or SM by it, and then go file later." But I thought I would ask you about that.
yeah, absolutely. So there are a couple things. I mean, my advice for the folks that I serve generally, so there's, if you're gonna, let me start by saying that if you plan at any point to seek a trademark registration, there are several ways that you can do that. One is for something that's already in use in commerce, meaning that you're already using it, you're already actively promoting your business or service or product under a certain name. And then the other registration that you can apply for is basically an intend to use, right? So they have a 1 or 1A marker on the application. And it's basically you fit into a category. You're either already using it or you intend to use it. And so generally my feedback for most folks that I serve is that don't let the trademark registration, meaning that if they don't have the budget, they don't have the bandwidth to go do that right now, get in the way of you doing the thing that you want to do, right? And especially if you've done your research around, and I won't ask you to say the name of your program or product here, but if you've done quite a bit of research online to make sure that that is not already in use, a phrase or similar phrase, you can also go, and I don't know if you've done this already, you can also go to the uspto.gov and run some basic trademark word searches. You just go to the trademark link. You can search trademarks, which is one of the upper links, and then search their trademark database, which is called TESS, and do a basic word search, right? So the basic word mark search is the first search there, and you can plug in your tagline, your business name, your product or program name, whatever you're thinking about. I generally recommend that people do variations on the phrase or the name. So if your phrase is 3 or 4 words, search 2 or 3 of those words in different combinations. You really want to get to know the range of what exists online as far as registrations go, because it's not always, sometimes you're excluded from the thing that you want as far as a registration goes, not because the exact thing is already taken, but because something similar enough is, and it's in the same category. So I would just say spend some time doing some searches, spend a lot of time searching even just on Google online, but don't let, if it's available, if it appears that nobody else is using that phrase or that name in a similar fashion, don't let not having a trademark get in the way of launching that into the world or using it. Because if you know that you are shortly after going to be seeking a registration, you absolutely can do what some people have already told you to do, which is to put a TM after the phrase or name, which signifies to people that you intend to seek a registration or you already are. And then you can convert that to the R in a circle once you obtain the registration. But first use in commerce is a pretty significant thing when it comes to trademark registrations that are already in use. And so oftentimes the risk of not using the thing or not launching the name out into commerce is that in the meanwhile, somebody else could.
Oh, wow. So if I start using,
Darn it, you've cut out again. I'm not hearing you, Kevin. Are you there with me still? You can also post in the chat. I don't know if you're on a phone or if you're on a computer. If you are by chance on a computer, you can also post in the chat.
oh, now I can hear you. Yeah, I'm on a
Okay,
computer. I don't know why I'm having
now,
such difficulty.
now
I've got,
you're back. I hear you.
okay. Yes, I was saying, so what happens if I go ahead and I go ahead and start using it, and then someone else says, hey, that's great. You know, that's a great name. Hadn't thought of that before. Let's just go ahead and file. And they go ahead and file.
Yeah, and that is a risk, which is why the ideal scenario is that you also have an application in place. But if you don't, the thing that you want to do when you do start using it, because you can also file, if somebody files for a trademark registration around the name that you're using and you're monitoring the applications, you can basically file a document. I forget the name of it because you should know that I don't actually do trademark filings. I coach people around assessing their IP, preparing
What do
their
you
IP.
mean? I was all excited. I said, okay, well, I'll just have her do this. And now you're going to tell me that you don't do it.
I don't file the actual registrations. No, I
Okay.
help people put their entire legal roadmap together. I do parts of it, but I refer that type of work to attorneys and colleagues that I know that do those filings all day long. I want somebody who lives and breathes that work to do your filing,
Yes.
to defend that stuff, right? Um,
Okay.
I spend a lot of time helping entrepreneurs create their whole roadmap and getting a lot of their business contracts in place. So the bulk of my work is around business contracts,
Ah,
protecting online content, putting all of your legal protections in place, all of your contracts for your online presence, your online business, as well as your offline portions of your business, like your standard client and client services agreements, whether it's, for the folks that I serve, coaching, consulting, online education, speakers, authors, speaker agreements, non-disclosure agreements, affiliate agreements, joint venture agreements, right? All the ways that we grow our businesses. So I do the biggest bucket in my 5 bucket framework that I spend time in is the contracts bucket. But I
that
help people understand the legal roadmap so that they're taking care of all the parts.
I see. Excellent. Well, do you still practice,
Mm-hmm.
actively practice?
Yes.
So let's one of the things I deal, I mean, I'm doing all this web work now to all this, this platform and creating all this stuff to get back to the people who I used to serve with the higher net worth clients,
Mm-hmm.
because they're very easy to work with. They, just want to set it and forget it. They don't care how much it costs. Once they find out that you have skill set, they just pay and want to get back to what they specialize in.
And
And
remind me, Kevin, remind me what area you practice in.
well, I'm a business finance attorney. I'm also an analyst. So I
Okay.
actually do run the analytics and do the modeling, the analytics and deal structures to minimize the risk of undercapitalization when people are going to access capital to deploy it for acquisitions, expansions, or new facility projects.
Got it.
So, in terms of the parlance of regular people, what I would say to them is uh, I help people get the right loan for business success and help them avoid getting an insufficient loan.
Mm-hmm.
That's more,
Mm-hmm.
and even that, I think a lot of times it's invisible to most people, the idea of getting undercapitalized.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
they're focused strictly on can they get approved, and that's what they're concerned about.
Right.
But that's just half the story. The other half is, well, how much do you need? And
Yeah.
many times people have this idea that the bank knows. Well, the bank doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're just trying to make a loan so they can get a deal on the books.
That's right.
And
Yep.
people don't make the distinction between the deal and the loan. They use those words interchangeably.
Yeah.
But the loan is just money. It doesn't matter if it's loan, private equity, friends and family, savings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just money. The key is, what is the deal that is going to be funded by the loan?
Absolutely. And they have to map that. Really quick, I want to take
Yes.
a moment and welcome Jessica.
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
No, you're okay. Jessica, hang tight with us. If you've got a question, we'll have you go next, or you're welcome to post in the chat. So Kevin, on that issue of, creating the platform and getting all of this ready, do you have any other questions, either around names or titles or anything that I can help you with?
Just tell me, how do I have you take a look at whatever it is I have? What's your process, and how do I engage with you for whatever process for you to determine what your recommendations are?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple ways that I can either help you with your own roadmap. I'm happy to also jump on a quick phone call. Let me post a link in the chat. I can also just provide referrals if you're like, hey, I just want to know, I talk to somebody who knows what it takes to get a registration. Like, I'm not really interested in being in the middleman if people don't need me. So I'm very happy to provide referrals. But if there is something that I can help you with, also happy to do that. I'm just going to pop a link over to my calendar. These are for quick kind of introductory calls to help people,
Okay.
kind of flesh out what they need. So you're welcome to grab that link if you want to get on my calendar. Otherwise, you can also contact me if you just want to email me questions or requests. Here is my email, info@legalwebsitewarrior.com.
Okay.
Those are a great way if there's something specific I can help with, beyond just what I've provided today around the trademark process.
Yes. Well, I want to actually, talk with you under whatever the circumstances are that you do that.
Yeah.
For you to look at, my situation, and you say, hey, Kev, here are the things that here are the roadblocks, or here are the risk areas. Here's what I recommend. Here's the steps. Here's what this would cost, and here's how long it would take. Just I'm just throwing that out there for,
Yeah, no, totally. And one more question I
hallucination.
have for you, Kevin,
Sure.
is what you're setting up now actually a second business separate and apart from your regular legal practice, or are these services that would actually be offered through your traditional practice?
Separate. I'm still a licensed attorney, but I
Yep.
built a law firm and had 5 associates, 20 staff people, and all that stuff years
Got
ago.
it.
Was a litigator, multiple
Yep.
death, catastrophic injury, and then plaintiff and blah 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 blah. I
Yep.
did plaintiff and defense, but I found that there were all these lawyers who did regular legal work, but there was nobody, around businesses, but there was no one who was taking care of the financing part, and that was the part that everybody had the problems with. And since I'd been court appointed to analyze companies and break them up, sell off assets and that sort of thing, I kind of left the law practice to move back to being able to be the point of the spear for a limited number of
Got it.
highly qualified clients who were doing deals.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what this is. But I do this
Okay, great.
as an analyst, not as a lawyer.
Yes. Okay. So it's on the financial side.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk separately. Grab a spot on my calendar. I'd be happy to help you out, point you in the right direction, whatever I can do to serve you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great to reconnect.
Oh, yes. Same here. Ditto.
Yeah.
You got a great smile. You got a great smile too.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling a little like, well, I'll just say it, tired. My last week has been working until like 1 or 1:30, so I appreciate you
Ah,
commenting on my smile because I feel like I should be hiding under a blanket. I went to bed at 3. My 2-year-old kept me up till 4. My 7-year-old woke me up quite early. Anyways, so I'm hanging on, but I am here to serve. So I'm glad to see you on the call.
well, you're doing a great job. I'm glad you're letting Jessica and I and others have some of your time. Thank
Thank
you.
you, of course. And Jessica, speaking of which, if you've got a question, feel free to unmute. I don't know if you're on a phone or on a computer. Feel free to either, pop in and say hi. If you've got something that I can help you specifically with, you're also welcome to pop it into the chat. I know sometimes people are in locations where they can't go live. So if there's something that I can help you with or a question I can answer, I'm happy to do that. And if you can see the chat, if you're not in a place to be able to do that, you can also take advantage of the information that I just shared with Kevin by jumping on a calendar if you've got specific questions that you don't want handled in a group context, or you want to just drop an email with a quick question. So either way. And we'll just see. These calls have been a big experiment. We'll see if anybody else shows up. And if not, no worries. I've had some calls where 6 or 8 people showed up and stayed for 90 minutes asking all sorts of questions. And then others where, people had busy Mondays. So just doing what I can to help support people in building their businesses.
Well, I appreciate you. And you could not have shown up at a better time. This was just
Oh,
fortuitous that I met you when I did. Thank you.
thank you. well, I so appreciate that. You know, part of the intensity of this time period is trying to figure out how to show up and serve people in the way that they need it, you know? So that's just for me an ongoing exploration of like, how can I do things differently? How can I create more efficiencies? How can I do it in a way that people will actually take advantage of it? So also open to feedback on that.
Well, feedback from me is you've got just a really, really remarkable and such a cool practice area.
Oh,
And for you
thank
to be able to,
you.
yeah, consult and do the legal part, for
Mhm.
whatever jurisdictions that you practice in, and be able to do the consulting just nationally, that's just amazing. And then to be able to come up with programs so that you're not tied to, production
Mhm.
exclusively.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and for me, and I'm sure you saw this, Kevin, but you know, having practiced, I mean, I've practiced law for 18, almost 19 years now. And after 10 or 12 years of practice, and I was never a very traditional person within the law, meaning that when I graduated law school, I actually just launched my own practice right out of law school. Um, I'd lost my mom during law school and realizing, you maybe heard that on our last call,
yeah,
realized,
it's very so sorry to hear about your
oh,
loss.
well, thank you. But,
Gosh.
you know, for anybody that faces something like that in their path, it really changed my idea of like how we should spend our time. And I just did not any longer buy into the idea that you needed to go do a specific thing to get certain types of experience or, you know, do what other people thought you should do. And so for me, I was really committed to doing, you know, what was interesting to me, what I, you know, the kind of work that I could get behind. And that meant creating my own legal practice right out of school. But um, the point of that is that I never fit really wholly within the legal industry. And as I even worked for my own clients and took on big projects, assisting firms throughout Seattle, I could see the ways that the industry was broken. Like I felt like I
Mhm.
had a unique perspective around what wasn't working, both from the standpoint of what wasn't working for attorneys, because I had tons of friends and colleagues, you know, really deeply embedded in traditional business models within the law, but also what wasn't working in the marketplace. And so being somebody who, you know, really thrives at the intersection of law and business, I could just see that there was a whole segment of our small business marketplace that was not served by the traditional legal industry. And so that's really what prompted me to set up a secondary business as an alternate way to meet those same needs. And you know, I feel like in a lot of really traditional industries, probably the same opportunity exists. You know, slow moving industries that are not highly responsive to the marketplace. And that's really, you know, legal is definitely that.
Oh, yes.
Right? There's huge gaps. I mean, we have huge access to justice gaps, both for individuals and small businesses. And so, you know, it's a real problem, but it's, you know, I appreciate industries and marketplaces that have a wide variety of solutions for the consumers in that marketplace. And, you know, I think legal could do a much better job.
Well, you're at the forefront, and you don't have anybody else doing what you do. And I was looking at your platform. That is such a cool name that you came up with.
Oh, thank you. I
How did you come up with that?
You know, call it a stroke of inspiration, but I literally sat down one day. I knew really clearly what I wanted to do and who I wanted to serve. And for people that know me, like I really have a warrior's heart, and I feel like I'm a warrior for my clients, not in the traditional sense of like going to battle, although I will go to battle for my clients, but really about, you know, standing up for the path of their business and helping them create what it is that they want to create in the world. And right now, you know, the for me, launching a second business that was almost exclusively going to be online, right? That's where the website part of it came in. The legal website warrior is really about putting myself into the path of where the people that I serve already exist.
Yes, that's what's so beautiful about what you're doing. Please continue. I couldn't help but chime in.
No, thank you. And so it just like I literally sat down for an hour one day and brainstormed the names of, you know, some options for my online business. And that one came and it stuck, and it was just like so clear. And when I looked at the others, they were not a fit. And So it was actually a fairly easy decision to come up with that. But I appreciate the feedback on that. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Welcome, Jason. I see we have somebody else on the call.
Thank you.
How are you?
You know, I'm doing well. It's just crazy times. My business continues to thrive, so I'm grateful. But you know,
Good.
during times like this, I'm really grateful that I have go-to diversity places to unpack my own biases. So that just diversity in business is important, and it's easy to just get stuck of like, what do I do? Where do I go? Because I have a very white audience, or light-skinned anyways. And so I woke up really a little frustrated. But Lisa Renee Hall, I'm a patron of hers, and she just continues to remind me there's no one right answer. It's really about exploring, and she does writing prompts to be able to get there. And she writes about white fragility. And so that's where I am.
Oh, I so appreciate you chiming in on that today. Been a heavy week, I'll tell you. Like, I'm showing up to this call today exhausted, like emotionally worn out, just feeling spent as a mom. But also, and there's a mastermind call that I participate in once a month, Monday mornings, and we had that this morning. And there's some diversity in the mastermind, not as much as I would like to see, but we do have some diversity. And you know, the weight of people trying to figure out, and especially white people trying to figure out right now what to do, how to respond, how to show up and be of service in a way that truly serves. Like, it's been a really heavy thing on my heart, you know. And so I appreciate you showing up and sharing so openly and talking about that.
Yeah, thank you. I think that it's so easy as an ally to get caught in like, am I doing it the right way? Am I doing enough? Should I engage in that? Should I withdraw from that?
Yeah.
And as the emotions are at like a 10 for a lot of people, just really grateful to have some go-to people to help my own wiring and get proactive rather than get stuck in it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, what do you do? Where are you at in the world? What do you do? How can I help you? How can I?
Oh, you know, we met once through Paul Zelzer. I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Yes. Oh, Jason, that's right.
Yeah. I run. Yeah. I run a company that really is focused on business coaching for the wellness providers.
That's right.
So the outliers. And more than anything, I don't have specific questions. I keep wanting to come, and I saw the email, and I had about 20 minutes, and I was like, I want to pop on and just listen. So.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. Well, this has been a big experiment for me, truthfully. I was just telling Kevin and Jessica that some of my calls, and I just thought, you know, what can I do in the time of COVID to be more accessible, to serve people?
I love it. I think it's super generous of you. You know, I feel really confident. I referred you someone, and they told me this morning that they reached out to you. So that's good.
Oh, I so appreciate that.
Yeah. And I just, in this sector, especially with telehealth everywhere right now, there's just a lot of unknowns. So it's good to have you as a resource.
Oh, well, I so appreciate that. Yes. And I know, you know, so many people, things are shifting and changing. The thing that, you know, has me feeling really optimistic is the amount of support, even from people on my list, the amount of support that they are receiving in other places. Right. I've had some people email and be like, I can't show up to your call because there's so many other things and so many other ways that other people are supporting me right now. So
yeah,
that's always good to hear. And that some of these calls, you know, I've had 1 or 2 people and we have a great conversation, and some I've had 8 or 9, and they stay on for 90 minutes asking me a wide variety of questions. So it's just been a big experiment, but I really appreciate you popping on.
Oh yeah, it's good to be here. It's good, and thank you. Like, you've been doing it for at least a month, if not several.
Yeah, a couple months now. This is probably somewhere in my 8th to 10th call. So, but it's good, you know. I've really enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it as a way to really connect with people. And for me, like even my strategy on LinkedIn, and Jessica, I see your hand raised. I just want to acknowledge that. I'll say one last thing and then we'll switch to your question or comment. On LinkedIn, when I connect with people, like my goal is not just to be another name in somebody's online list or connections. Like I invite everybody into a one-on-one call if they're open to it. And some
Great.
people do, it's a small percentage, but they tend to be people that also, like me, really enjoy connecting. And like I call it the old-fashioned Rolodex. Like I want you to be somebody in my Rolodex that I go, oh, now I know Jason, we've talked. I could call him or I could refer to him, and not just have it be a list of online connections. And so that's another way that selfishly I've really enjoyed these calls, is just by connecting with folks.
Well, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you again. Jessica, I see your hand. How can I help you? Do you want to unmute or do you want to post it
I
in
believe
chat?
I believe I'm unmuted.
Oh, there
Can
you
you
go.
hear me?
You are. Yep, you are.
Okay. I would love to help my 13-year-old great niece start some sort of a business using, say, either Instagram or TikTok, and do like either selling some small item or being in some type of an affiliate appropriate for her age range. So if I'm the one who kind of gets her going on that and structures all of that, do you have any like good starting points for like what paperwork I might need to be able to do that with her or for her? I mean, I really don't want to be an owner in the business. I would just like to be guiding her in doing it, but she is 13.
Right. Yes, and based on that, you may have to do it. And I probably, where are you based, Jessica? Tell me, what state are you in?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Texas. Okay. So, and is that where your niece is?
Yes.
Okay. Probably for business formation, for really properly setting up the paperwork, making sure that it's handled the right way, doing it in a way that, and I don't know whether it would have to be done in trust. Like I'm not clear on how that would happen for your niece. I know that there's a way for it to happen because kids do this, and usually with the support of adults in their life. But I could get a referral for you to connect with somebody who does business formation work in Texas. From the online standpoint, I mean, some issues that you'll want to pay attention to are if your niece is building, if she's marketing, I assume she'd be marketing to other kids her age, or would they be
yeah, I think probably to other teenagers.
Other teenagers? Okay. Because you'd always want to be careful. Anytime a business involves kids, right, you have to be really careful about what data you're collecting online from children and what their ages are. So there are some online issues that you'd really want to be aware of, depending on how the business building activities are taking place. Do you anticipate that she'd have like a website of her own, a landing page, if she's selling something? Where does that live?
I kind of wanted just to do something that went through the platform that she wanted to use, either TikTok, probably TikTok, because her age. So I was thinking to keep it the absolute simplest, completely simplest way to do it. And I was thinking, well, possibly some affiliate type item. And so at first she would not need to collect anybody's names and addresses by not building an email list of her own. And that way she would not need a website either.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, if she's just sharing an affiliate link, it's almost like an online influencer, right? They're just directing traffic to a certain location.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way to say it.
Yeah. So, mostly for people who are acting as an affiliate, one of the big issues is really providing proper disclosures, right? The FTC, if you're, and, this is why like Twitter, you've got 140 characters or something. The FTC has actually come down with decisions saying that's enough room to provide a disclosure that that's an affiliate link, or that, something is promotional. And so, she'd want to get really clear on what those rules are so that she's posting in the right way. People understand that it's an affiliate link, that she would be making money, that kind of stuff. And those disclosures need to happen really close to the link that's being shared. People shouldn't have to hunt for them. I've looked a little bit on TikTok. I don't spend time there. I don't know how the linking and the posting works. I assume that it's like other social media platforms where there's probably limited room, especially if it's largely video content. But at this point, if she is just setting up an affiliate link, if she's not yet creating a business entity and it's really, like funds get deposited in a PayPal account or something, that could probably happen with just a minimal amount of help from an adult in her life. So it's probably pretty feasible.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, so I didn't know if there was anything that I would need to shield myself from any liability from helping her, or if it needs to be her parents that do all the legal signing for anything,
Yeah, it's
that type of
probably
thing.
whoever is technically her legal guardian, right, is going to have the rights to be able to sign things on her behalf, or create things on her behalf, enter into any kind of legal agreements on her behalf. And that's why still talking with a business formation attorney, or, business attorney there in Texas would be most helpful.
Okay.
But, from the standpoint of being online, as an affiliate, as an influencer on social media channels, the biggest thing is really disclosure, making sure that she's got proper language in place when she shares links.
Okay, that sounds great. I would like a referral.
Okay, great. So Jessica, if you'll drop me an email, info@legalwebsitewarrior.com, remind me where you're based and the business referral that I get so overwhelmed. I need to be reminded about what I have to follow up on. Just drop me an email, because my VA will help me track that, and we can ask for a referral and get back to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Glad to have you here today. Hi, Mustafa.
Hello there.
Good to see you.
Likewise, it's like the first day I don't have a class at this time. And I just saw your email. I'm like, I've got to jump on her call.
Well, I'm laughing. Guess what I did until 3 a.m. last night?
What did you do?
I recorded the welcome
Yes.
episode for my podcast.
Awesome. How did it go?
I think good. The way that I did the intro, I don't know how you did yours, but you're really good at just getting on and going live and ad-libbing. I actually spent like 3 or 4 hours writing very carefully around the concepts that I wanted to share about. Yeah. And so I actually tested out a live teleprompter, and yeah. And anyways, we'll see. I think it was actually okay. I mean, I'm having somebody else totally professionally edit it, all of that. So we'll see. But the format of the show itself is going to be, interview format, interview style.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I just made bullet points on what I want to talk about. And I went live and I talked about it. Because if I put a script, if I follow scripts, I'm going to sound scripted.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. I don't love it either, but I really wanted to get my thoughts down. And honestly, like, my brain has so much going on right now that if I don't, like, I just have to be that organized. Otherwise, I didn't have any confidence.
That's fair.
To do it in the way that I wanted to. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it totally went against my nature to do it that way, but it was the best I could do, and I needed to get it done. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you get any sleep over the weekend? Just for other people listening, last week I participated in Mustafa's marketing course. He's got, I will just put it out there, and I am an affiliate because I love Mustafa's work, but he's got a phenomenal marketing course that he invited me to, and I didn't know what I was in for. I said yes, and it was, oh my gosh, you just so over delivered. Like, I need to go actually implement the plan, but at least I know the plan. At least I have the plan, and I can see like some of the big holes and how it all fits together. So Kevin, Jessica, if you guys know anybody that needs marketing help, especially in the entrepreneurial world, oh my gosh, Mustafa's your guy. It was a
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, brilliant week. So have you recovered? Do you get any sleep at your house?
I did. I tried. Yes. Although I was up till 3 again last night because I had an issue on my site. Oh my God.
Oh my, I know. I can't do this much longer. The 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I was up till 3 and then I finally went to bed, and then my 2-year-old kept me up till 4 crying about all her stuffies. Like, we have a rule of bringing like one stuffy to bed, right? She's got a bun, and she wants like 20, she wants a train of stuffies in bed with her and is crying about not having the pink bunny and the, anyways, I was about to lose my mind. Like,
My son does the same thing. He brings in a whole bunch of them. I'm like, hey, do you think we could take the zoo out?
dude, my 2-year-old did not go to bed until 11 p.m. last night because her stuffies were keeping her busy and talking, and she was covering it. I mean, I was just like, is this my life? I know. Well, is there anything that I can help you with or support you with, Mustafa, since you actually made it to the call?
And I've sent this to you before. Have you had a chance to look at my thing that I sent you?
Oh, I did. I looked it over, and my initial conclusion, which is why I responded back, like, you know what, I think it would be faster just to provide you my template.
Okay.
For terms of purchase, because basically, and until somebody looks at what I've got, I think it's really hard to understand the scope of what really should be included when you're selling a program online. But it's going to cover everything from refund policy to intellectual property that you share, and you have a lot of it, right? Your workbook is brilliant, right? That you share as part of your course, to what happens and what are the rules around creating an online group associated with that course. So in your Facebook group, for example, and especially if you are selling them into, you know, your upsell being a larger program where it is a mastermind format, right? People are going to have the expectation of confidentiality in that. And so there would need to be a non-disclosure clause as part of that terms of purchase that covers, and you can, there's ways to also reiterate that. I realize not everybody reads.
I thought we had that in there. Did I not?
You
Or no?
might. Yep.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about the full scope.
The general. Okay.
The general, yep, outline of my terms of purchase also include a data scraping prohibition, right? Because the other thing that I see is that people form these amazing online groups and provide just brilliant services, and somebody jumps in, scrapes the content, scrapes the list of people that are in that group, and then they start messaging and pinging them elsewhere to invite them to their group or to do this next thing, or to, you know, somehow capitalize on what you're doing in your group. So I generally don't like to see that, the amount of effort that it takes for somebody to develop and cultivate their own group.
Okay.
Right. So, and then the right to removal, right? If you have somebody misbehaving or somebody who abuses the rules of participating in your group, and, you know, largely, luckily, most people don't do that, but all it takes is getting, you know, but like, business is a game of statistics. And for all of us, even when we work really hard to attract the right people and serve the right people, all it takes is getting one person inside of a group that can disrupt the whole flow of the program, the flow of the group, and the experience of other people in there. So having the right to remove somebody and kick somebody out is really important if they're not playing nice.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Okay.
you know,
Good.
it's probably an 8-page document, right? There's a lot that gets covered in terms of purchase when you're talking about, you know, high level information and a lot of IP and all of this. So I personally think that's probably the fastest, easiest way to go for you.
It would be 8 pages. I was trying to keep it down. Like, I really tried hard to keep it down to 2 pages. I mean, I could have had more. And then I was like, you know, I have some of the stuff they mentioned.
You can take a look at it and decide what fits and doesn't fit for you. But when people come to me and say, oh, you know, I really want just a 1-page contract, and I'm laughing a little bit because Kevin, who's also on the line, is also an attorney. I don't know if, Kevin, you've ever had the experience of like, oh, can you just put together like a 1-page, you know, keep it short, simple kind of contract? And my question is like, oh, do you want a 1-page contract, or do you actually want something that will protect you, something that actually works, right?
Got it.
Right.
And so it's a balancing act, and I don't love to over lawyer. I don't love to put contracts in place that keep people from doing business, but the other thing that you should know, Mustafa, is if somebody's checking out in an online funnel, 8 pages of terms, they're not going to know that it's 8 pages. You've got a scroll function rather than a page flipping function, right? Like, it's not like you're looking at a traditional printed contract. People don't really understand the length of it, right?
So with this is actually going to be in our brochure for our program. So it will be 8 pages.
Got it. So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why are you putting it in the brochure for the program? Is it the brochure? The purpose of a brochure is like marketing and advertising, right?
So that they see the terms and the conditions and what they're going to get. I mean, we could have another terms of purchase on our checkout page. But
I would say don't put it in your brochure. We could pull out, and I'd be happy to chat with you separately about pulling out what key provisions might need to show up on your brochure that are absolutely essential to their information about whether to opt in or not.
Right.
But the brochure is not going to be the conversion mechanism, meaning that your brochures are most often really used to let people know the specifics of like what they're buying into. Yes, the legal terms are important, but that enrollment process takes place somewhere else. That's where the terms need to show up.
Got it. So on the checkout page or on the, so they would say yes to. Okay,
Yep,
I like that idea.
Yep. But I'm happy to
Good.
walk through if you've got questions around specific things that you want to see in the brochure, how to language that, how to incorporate that in a way that is not off-putting to people, but gives them the information.
So some of the stuff that you mentioned, like the refund policy, the right of removal, confidentiality, Facebook groups, and some of the stuff, I wanted it to be there so they could see it right off the bat that, hey, if you don't behave, you're going to be out, or this is confidential and stuff like that. And, but you're right. We should have a more comprehensive 8-page long on the checkout so that later we're covered.
Totally. And that way, and what also happens, I'll just put this as an FYI, what also happens in the enrollment and sales process is a lot of people obviously don't go read through all 8 pages. And so depending on how you're enrolling people into the group, you can highlight the important stuff in conversation with them. You can also highlight the importance of, review the terms, everything's there, but you'll also get a copy of it once you enroll, right? And providing a link back once somebody's inside the program.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that I often help a lot of my clients take some of the provisions that show up inside of the terms of purchase and actually help build their Facebook group rules, right? So you would take some of those same provisions, we could shorten them a little bit or modify them, but also create your house rules, your community guidelines for your online group, whether it's on Facebook or any other platform, right?
Right.
But some of those should show up both places simply from the standpoint of really educating people about what the.
So is that something that will be part of the the terms of purchase as well? For the Facebook group and everything?
Yeah, you could pull some of the language out of the terms of purchase and pop them over into the Facebook house rules.
Into the group. So here are the rules and you got to comply with by these rules.
When you create a Facebook group, you've got the about section that shows up over on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
You can pop a whole list of rules into there, as well as when somebody goes to apply for the group, when somebody asks to become a member of the group, you know how you can ask them questions and then you have a certain amount of space to say some things right there at the point that somebody's
Yeah.
You can also highlight some of your top most important community guidelines right there.
Do you have a template for that? For the Facebook group?
I have. So here's the thing is I could provide ones that I've done for other clients. Some of these groups are all very different in the way that they're run, in what kind of activity takes place in the group. So there's not really a one size fits all, but I could certainly walk you through in a quick phone call what ones I think would be applicable for your work.
Okay. I would love to see the template for your other one. What do we need to do to get that going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's, why don't we just follow up via email? And we can swap information about that and schedule a chat.
All right.
The link to my calendar is right here, but you won't get on my calendar might be booked for like a week or 2 out. I'll have my VA get you on my calendar sooner so that we can chat about that.
Okay, sure. Why don't we just follow up on our chat thing and then figure something out? Because I wanted to chat with you about a few things as well.
Okay.
I actually did send you my link. My link would probably show you more availability if you're open to picking
Oh,
a time on my link.
Yes. Yep. No, I'll go check that out or have my view.
Okay.
Make sure that we
Is this thing open to public or is it just to your own tribe?
Oh, just to my own tribe. Nope. You have to be on my list to be invited to this call.
So, okay. We'll talk about promoting it later then.
Okay. And there is a link. Yeah. Cause I could get you an affiliate link. The link for anybody who's interested in sharing this, including for Kevin or anybody else on the call or that sees the replay, if they've got friends that think that this call would be helpful or that they know people with legal questions that I could support them with, they can go sign up on this page, and I'll just pop the link into the chat so that it's a shareable link. It's right here. It's just my website, legalwebsitewarrior.com/ask-me-anything. So that's how they would get notified. They'd get onto my list and get notified about the Ask Me Anything lives every week.
And then does this include them being on your Facebook group as well?
Not my Facebook group, no, but they'll be on my email list if they go sign up there. But that's what allows them to receive the weekly link for the Zoom calls.
Okay. I think you have sent me an affiliate link, and it's probably somewhere. I'll try to find it.
No worries, and I can go create a new one for you for that share for that page.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll pop.
You're on what's it called? Infusionsoft for your affiliate tracking.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, how are kiddos doing?
Good. I feel like I'm not spending enough time with my kids.
I know. I feel the same. How is your house so quiet?
My wife is upstairs. That's how.
Takes care of business.
And they're good now. Sometimes they're like all three of them start screaming because they all piss each other off. So I run upstairs to rescue. And like, especially the little one gets cranky often. He likes to be picked up. And so sometimes I just run upstairs and I grab one of them and, they get frustrated at home.
Yeah, totally. It's, I know it is. I just feel like we've got constant little mini tornadoes happening in this house.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be at JBology Live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. In fact, I think I've got a live interview with Jay today at like 1 o'clock.
Are you interviewing him or he's interviewing you?
He's interviewing me.
Oh, as a VIP?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm going to be at Dog's thing later today.
Oh, yes. No, I
Yeah.
do. I've got a 10-minute slot to announce the launch of my podcast, which I need to start interviewing for.
So with the podcast, I don't do any editing. I'm like, if I start, I just start and stop and upload. That's it. If I start editing and messing around with it, I just won't be able to do it.
No.
I'm like, I'm okay if I have some bloopers and ums and ohs in there. I don't care. This is a confidence show. I'm not going to be unconfident about my ums and ohs. I don't care. Even if there's bloopers, we'll laugh it out and then bam, put it out there.
I love that. I mean, I personally find that really refreshing. And I have the same thing where it's like, I mean, last night I sat there, recording until 3 a.m. and it was only like a 15-minute, intro episode. But I was like, first of all, there's no way I have time to edit this. The only reason it will be edited is because I've got somebody else doing just my welcome episode. But yeah, for future calls, I agree. They're going to be live. The conversation itself is going to go live. I'm going to stream to both my YouTube channel and Facebook. Right?
Oh, I found a VA through Jay Rook who does everything for your podcast.
Yes. Is it Lang? Is her name?
Yes,
Lang?
yes. Are you working with her?
I've emailed her. I'm trying to set up a meeting.
I'm trying to put a few people together, like 5 or 6 people, and then we'll all go work with her, and then we can probably work out a deal or something with her. You open to that?
Totally. I mean, I think my understanding is she already charges, but we'll find out. She already charges pretty inexpensively.
It's like $350 for 4 episodes.
$350 for 4. Oh, is that her pricing?
Yeah, that's what she told me.
Oh, got it. Interesting. Okay.
So they'll take care of editing, removing all the extra stuff, adding your intro, outro, and transcribing it, putting it on your website, putting it in our social media channels, and all that. $350 for 4 episodes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All you do is you drag and drop the file on Dropbox or something, and they'll
Yeah.
take it from there.
Yeah. I thought it was an hourly rate.
She
but
has both.
Got it. I haven't connected with her yet, so I'll just have to find out.
Are you going to do like weekly or?
Yeah, weekly is the intent for my show. I'm probably anticipating at least one interview weekly where I highlight, a really quality entrepreneur that has enough experience to share because of the nature of my podcast and the conversations that I want to feature on there. It needs to be somebody with experience. Can't be somebody that's just, right out of the gate. And so one of those interviews every week from people that have really sustained their business and grown their business through prior crunch periods. Like, I'm interested in stories about how we evolve business even in the midst of crisis, and how we sometimes make the best decisions when we're in the midst of crisis.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so I'm looking for people with real longevity in business. But my goal is to get one of those conversations each week. And then probably I will be recording, a couple of small solo episodes, like a 5-minute teaching point, as well as just a conversation about grit, about endurance as entrepreneurs.
Awesome. Have you reached out to those people you wanted to start with?
I am. I've got a whole list of them. Like, I've got 20 people on my list. I'm trying to be really strategic about who I start with, and I've got some ideas that I'll be emailing today. But then I'm also going to hit up a mastermind, a very high level mastermind that I belong to. We've got lots of people at really high levels of business in that mastermind, and I'm just going to see who self-selects.
Awesome. I just reached out to, I got a response from Jeff Walker and Christian Michelson.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I'm playing with, what's her name? Alina Vincent on her launch.
Rats.
I was on her email today. Like my name showed up on the list.
On the leaderboard.
Yeah. So I was like, cool, this is happening.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So my goal is to bring him on the show.
Yeah.
Start that relationship that way. I brought Alina. I've got Jay's like my buddy, which shows up often.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on bringing Christian and Jeff Walker and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And then see how that's gonna.
So have they said yes? Did you say that you've got a?
I told Christian I've got a show. He's like, yeah, we'll see what we got to do. I haven't told Jeff yet.
Okay.
But I'll reach out.
That's amazing. Congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. Working on it. And I got a VA. So she's been working on stuff.
Oh, that's super exciting.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you two are my role models. I'm just sitting here wrecking the wings, just drinking all this in. I'm afraid I have to take off to get ready for a 2:00 conference call, but I've really, really enjoyed connecting with you all today. Thank you so much for sharing so much with me earlier, Heather. And Mustafa, I'm going to look you up on the net and follow up with you. If you've been doing any work with Heather, then I want to acknowledge you because she's got a fabulous platform.
Yes, she does. She does. Thanks. Yeah, would love to chat, Kevin. Here, do you want my link to pick a time and chat?
Yeah. Please send it to me. I'll place in the chat before I take off. I'll snapshot it.
Here, oh, now it froze. Oh my God. As soon as you.
Take your time. No worries.
Here it is. Persai.com, book 15.
There you go.
I'd love to chat.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Kevin, great to connect with you again. Be in touch.
Yes, same. And Jessica, nice to be on the call with you, Jessica. And you all have a great day.
All right. Thank
Likewise.
you, Kevin.
All right. Bye, Heather. Bye, Mustafa. Bye, Jessica.
Thank you. Bye-bye. What kind of attorney is Kevin?
So he he started his own practice, hired 5 associates, ran, I think, personal injury. It was multiple death type of really severe cases, for years, and had 20 staff, was really had a crew. He's now, though, he's working specifically with businesses around getting adequate financing for the business. So he's also lives in the financial world. I'm not sure if he's a licensed financial advisor. I get the sense he probably is. And so he's trying to put together a program and education for people who he can serve in that capacity around how to adequately finance a business. Because a lot of people they get a loan or they're applying for the loan and they think that like the loan is the deal. He's like, no, the loan is the money. The deal is the deal. You have to know what you're doing with the money in the context of your business. And you have to know whether or not it's adequate and what amount to ask for and, you know, what is really going to be required to support your business. So I look forward. Thank you, Jessica. Good to see you. Drop me an email and we'll try to get you a referral. He's really focused on, you know, supporting people in that space with business financing and helping them essentially get adequate funding and understand what it means
Fantastic.
adequately.
So he's a lawyer / financial advisor. That's powerful.
Yes, very powerful.
Oh, now it's just the two of us now. Do you want to chat real quick?
Totally.
Okay. So did you get my idea about that summit?
Sorry, and I apologize. My weekend was a whirlwind.
I know.
I had so much, like my inboxes are overflowing. Remind me what the summit is
So
about.
I woke up, I saw your posts and what's going on Facebook with this black guy that got killed. I'm like, it's a good time to run a Know Your Rights summit.
Yes.
I think there is such a good time and demand for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it could be obviously providing value / list building / business as well. And I mean, the way you spin it, I mean, or whoever you work with would be amazing. And I said, if you get this going, I will, as my contribution, I'll get this on every news outlet in North America for you.
Amazing. So for me, I don't feel like I would be the right person to speak on like personal rights, especially if you're talking about the context of like individual rights, right? I mean,
But you're posting about this like 5 times a day, though.
I care about them, but it's not my line of work, right? Meaning that
Okay.
I don't do defense work for people that are charged with crimes or people that are held or detained against their will. You know what I mean? It's not my line of work. I know friends, I have people in the legal field who do. I could reach out totally to see if they're interested in sharing on that topic.
I'm just thinking a 2 or 3 day summit where people come in, interview style, they share about different rights that people need to have and know about, whether it's at the border, whether it's police, any place, right? And then multiple experts and different people from different fields come in and share. I think this is going to blow out of proportion with what's going on.
Yeah, I would need to do some brainstorming about it. I mean, let's talk briefly. Let's brainstorm briefly about like what kind of rights you're talking about, what kind of education.
All sorts of rights. Your rights when you're buying and purchasing. You would talk about that. Your rights when you are buying offline or online, with business, with the police, with the government, with there are different places. And I mean, we could have lawyers, we could have different professionals in different fields and say, hey, by the way, these are your rights, right? I think we could line something up in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks and have a Zoom room or something, interview style, bring people in, they ask their questions. And I think this, when I thought about it, when it hit me in the morning, I'm like, this could be massive right now. And I feel like right now with this guy that just died a few days ago, a massive movement has started, and it doesn't seem like he wants to die. And I'm happy about that. The fact that people are like,
oh, I got goosebumps when I was, you know, looking at I mean, I hate looking at the news, but I got goosebumps seeing that people around the world are joining in protest and, you know, wearing his name and showing up with signs that, you know, acknowledge his life.
wow.
Yeah,
it was big.
Yeah, the group in London, there was a group that protested yesterday or the day before that had 9 minutes of silence in honor of his life. And it's just like,
Oh yeah.
Well, and I would want to do some brainstorming. Let me hear. I'm going to stop this recording since I recorded calls. Let me stop this and we'll continue the conversation. 1 second. Where did
okay.